Hi there, future Globetrotters. Today we're going to dive into the critical topic of how to get your visa requirements as well as how to get your residency permit to live abroad. Welcome back to Expats Toolkit, the ultimate hub of all tips and information about moving and living abroad. If you've started to wander through the maze of the visa requirements and residency requirements, you're not alone. The process may seem daunting, but fear not, I am here to help you through this process. First, it's going to be asking the right questions. Where do you begin? Well, you're going to begin by visiting the country's governmental website. Many countries offer very easy visas, especially U.S. citizens, to acquire. So all you have to do is navigate to their website and you can get the information. Countries allow you to apply online. That's super nice. The next question will be, what type of visa do I need in the country I want to visit? Student, tourist, business, all of that information will be stipulated on the governmental website as to what those specific requirements are for each one. But typically, most of us do the tourist visa. You'll want to look at the length of stay and the paperwork required to enter the country. For example, tourist visas in most countries are 90 days within 180 days of your stay. You may need to show evidence of a hotel receipt. You'll also need to have a valid passport that has at least 6 months left the date of the expiration date. You'll want to also make sure what the requirements are of the number of pages left in your passport. Are there any language proficiencies that you have to have in that foreign country? And you'll want to know how long that visa process is going to take. In Turkey, for example, the process takes about a week. Some countries longer, so you need to verify that so that you can schedule your trip accordingly. What are the potential restrictions or limitations for the visa? If you're planning on working or going to school in that country, what will that visa allow me to do? Is if there's a COVID vaccination requirement. How do I apply for the visa? Do I go online? Do I have to go to the embassy? You need to find that information out through your research process. For example, here in Turkey, you can do it all online. You just have to follow the instructions provided and complete the application. Note that there is typically a fee for a visa application. Another option is you can schedule an appointment at the embassy and meet with someone directly. Make sure when you schedule your appointment that you're on time and you don't miss your appointment. And if you're approved, they will mail your visa to whatever address you give them. You'll want to know how they'll notify you, whether that's email, mail. So that's a question you'll need to ask. So if you're finding this information valuable, please subscribe to my channel as I will continue to produce more and more information about moving and living abroad, as well as give me a thumbs up to help me spread the knowledge and help others go through this process with ease. As you're navigating through this process, one of the ways that we have found that is so helpful is using a professional service. Especially when it comes to residency, there's a lot of paperwork that's involved. There's a lot of things that have to be checked off. Using an international or professional residency service will help you through that process. The laws change often in a lot of these countries, so to keep up with it and stay current, it's very difficult to do. And these guys, that is their professional job, so therefore they're very helpful in knowing what information needs to be in the packet in order to apply for residency. There is a small fee for their service, but I guarantee you it is well worth it because I've had lots of friends miss one thing in their packet when they're applying for residency that they got denied. And that means you have to leave the country for anywhere from 3 months to 6 months before you can re-enter again. I find that spending that little extra money up front for these residency services is well worth the money. Best way to find out what services are the best is actually asking within your expat groups. We use one here in Turkey. We still use it today when we reapply for our renewals. And I'll leave a link below for their service, as well as we've sat down with one in Budapest, but I guarantee you'll be very satisfied you went that route. For an added bonus, I have added down below, it's a link to help you navigate through the visa requirement and the residency permit. And just to make you aware of ways to go about getting that information. Again, I'm going to ask you to give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel, as you will find that more and more of the information I'm going to share with you on this channel will help you navigate the process of moving abroad and living abroad. Now on to the questions about residency permit. I know I've suggested to use a professional, but there are some questions you'll want to ask during your process sitting down with these folks, or if you plan to do it yourself, these are the questions you're going to need to research and find out. The difference is that as a resident, you're going to declare yourself either a student, you're coming with your family, you're coming as a tourist, or you're coming as an investment, long-term, short-term. There's many different residency permit options, so you need to take a look at what they are and what are the requirements under each one. You have to be within your 10-day visa expiration date applying for residency. If your visa is expired, you're automatically denied residency. The most common residency permits are filed under what we call tourists, with showing that you have a notarized rental agreement, or you have to have a sponsored document. You have to buy health insurance. You have to register your address with the city government. They will come to your apartment, knock to verify that you live there. There are restricted neighborhoods. These are just some aspects of living in Turkey that I had to go through, and I've noticed that it kind of is similar in many other countries that we've looked at. For a while there, we were taking a look at Portugal. They have what they call a D visa. You have to have a clean criminal record, passive income that can support your daily life. If your spouse is joining you, they have to bring 50% of that income into the picture. If you have independence, you have to show that you have 30% of that income to get your residency. There's a lot of different criteria based on the country itself. So you have to go through and look at each one of those to see where you match and if you can match those demands. The next question you want to ask is, what does it take to extend your residency? So for example, you'll maybe get a year residency or a 2-year. How many times can you extend it? Or what is the renewal process? Those are some questions you'll want to ask. Typically, 60 days before your expiration date of your residency permit, you'll want to start the process of applying for a renewal. Then you have to think about the potential pitfalls. And these pitfalls can be many factors. One, it can be economy, it can be war, it can be just about anything. Here in Turkey, I've experienced some really weird things. For example, when I first came here, eager to give me a year residency. Then the Russian-Ukraine war broke out and a whole lot of Russian and Ukrainians moved to Turkey. Therefore, there was just too many foreigners living here. So then they said, okay, or we're only going to give you 7 months. So the renewal process has been kind of a little bit of a pain, but because of that fluctuation, that was a pitfall that I have to deal with each time I apply. So these are just some things that you have to take in stride. They're going to change year to year, so therefore that's important to kind of keep up with what's going on. Navigating visa requirements and residency permit requirements can be very daunting, but it is part of the process. It is something easily done, just spending some time researching and visiting governmental websites. And to really help yourself out a lot, I'd suggest hiring a international residency service or someone like that that can help you put all those paperwork together and make your transition happen much faster and much smoother. As I mentioned to you earlier, I am providing you with a printable document that you can print out. The link is below, and you can add this to your binder of moving abroad to use as a checklist to go through as you're navigating this process of visa requirements and residency permit. Please subscribe, as I will continue to make these every week to share with you on the process of moving and living abroad and hopefully help you in any way possible. You're more than welcome to leave me a note below and say, hey, I have a question, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible to answer your questions. My goal is to make it easier for you to move abroad than I experienced. Until next time, Expats Toolkit is signing off. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.